Welcome to the B Shifter podcast. John Vance, Josh Bloom, and today we have some information for you on just what's going on with Blue Card this month. And then we have some audio that we'll listen to from a vent inner isolate search rescue from one of our Blue Card departments. How are you doing, Josh? Good to see you, man.
I'm doing great. Good to see you, John. Weather's
What's
changing here in Cincinnati. I see you got your sweatshirt on. I'm sure it's cold and probably, what's it, snowing in Minnesota?
just about? We had a little Halloween, pre-Halloween snow, so we've already had our first snowfall of the year. It's a nice 36 degrees outside and overcast. So if you're in a sunshine state, here's to you, because us up in the upper portions of the United States are getting ready for winter. I'm getting my heat mats out, so I don't have to shovel my sidewalk in the backyard. So that's how close to winter we are. Hey, we have some stuff going on with Blue Card, and we've been updating some systems. Why don't we give the folks an update on that and let them know exactly what's going on with bshifter.com?
Yeah, so we had a known outage. We needed to improve the system, get a new platform. And, anytime you do that, there's going to be bugs or challenges with it. So every fire department should be familiar with that. If you've switched records management systems before, it's like, oh, well, we were able to capture everything except your inspections. And it's like, yeah, well, what do you do, right? So with us on the 21st of October, the system got shut down. On that following Wednesday at 0700, it was turned back on. So we're just really 1 or 2 days past it being 2 weeks that the system's been turned back on. We've been working through, continuing to upgrade, the system and make sure that everything's working and making sure that that you all, the customer base, is getting what you need as far as what our priorities were during the transfer. So a big thing was the learning management system, making sure that that was functional and working and all of that. So people who were doing the online could do the online, and people who needed CE could do the CE, and instructors with the records management system could build rosters and check people off. So we continue to work through that and refine that. And thanks to all of you who have, sent in notes, whether it's about an improvement or those that have sent in notes just saying, hey, we get it, but we have this little issue or glitch that we're trying to work through and we can't figure it out. So we're good with that. That's command function 7. We want that feedback. We want to make sure that we are doing the best that we can do and providing the best system that we can possibly provide. And it'll never be over, right? I mean, just like our organizations, we should be in a state of constantly trying to fix ourselves. And that's kind of, my view is the operations manager for Blue Card is we should always be in a state of trying to fix ourselves. So what can we do better to support you all? And I think it's exciting that, we're rebuilding this platform and we're going to have something that allows us to do so much more to provide better tools and streamline some things for you all, the customers, as well as add a bunch of classes, CE modules, and improve process for certification. So just a few of those things. We've been working on the ARFF module for a while, and I got to review it this last week, and I was kind of blown away by the quality of it and how well it was put together. And so I'm really looking forward to in 2024 the ARFF module coming out. And I know everybody doesn't deal with an airport. Probably most people don't deal with an airport, but it's another piece to capture that all hazards. And then we got Chris Stewart from Phoenix Fire Department, retired, Grant Light from Cincinnati Heavy Rescue, and then he's very engaged in like the FEMA HERS training all across the country and development of equipment for what the FEMA teams actually deploy with, along with Steve Schubert, who's also longtime friends of ours here in Cincinnati and deployed many times with those guys on USAR events as far as tech rescue for that first due company officer. So don't get yourself hurt, right? Don't become the victim. But what can you do when you get there? So just like the hazmat module, we're building that out. And then our partnership and relationship that we've built with the National Fire Sprinkler Association. So we're building multiple CE modules that'll come out on fire protection systems, managing a fire pump. Like, what does that really look like? What are all these pipes coming out of it? So, if you're at a smaller place and it's got, one riser, that's one thing. But, example, I just made an incident, and coming off the fire pump, there were 7, maybe 8 risers coming off of it. 3 of them were dry, 4 of them or so wet. It was a cold storage facility, and it was kind of confusing. Like, what in the world is all of this, and a whole lot of moving parts. So we're looking forward to doing something with them and pushing that, CE out to all of you that lines up with big box, but also lines up with all this lightweight wood frame stuff we're getting. What does 13R really mean, and what's protected and what's not protected, and how do you isolate that, and all of that. So I think a lot of good things on the horizon. And then I have to mention the Silverback Leadership thing. Nick and Terry, what they presented at the conference and the feedback we got from that. People wanted that the next day, right? And it's in development, and I think it's going to be fantastic. And we'll see that in 2024. And the good thing is we're not going to have to wait on the entire program. So that Silverback Leadership program is going to come out in modules. So it's not like you're waiting a year for somebody to develop the whole thing. As it gets developed, they're going to start to roll that out. So I think a lot of exciting things going on. We want to be able to provide to you, all the customer, and fulfill your needs, and we do that based off of the feedback that you all give us. So, that's a little bit of what's going on with us and what we're looking to do, closing out this year and starting next year.
What can we expect in March 6th and 7th? We're doing a critical decision-making, strategic decision-making model class. That's garnered a lot of interest. One has been delivered so far. What is that class all about, and who is the target audience? What's the subject of that one?
Yeah, so that class, we've had multiple organizations, reach out to us as far as, like, how do we start to connect the Blue Card Command Training Program, using the strategic decision-making model, teaching people further in detail, like application of the strategic decision-making model on, all kinds of different hazards and building types and all of that. So earlier this year, in the first part of this year, I'd gotten with Chris Stewart, who was a longtime deputy chief, and I think he's still a deputy chief. He just retired from one place and went to another. And then Eric Phillips, captain, 21, 2, 3-year guy at Las Vegas, riding an engine company, and said, what can we do to help our customers connect the strategic decision-making model and command to the work we do a little bit better. So with that said, the class I think helps the student with making well-informed decisions under high-pressure situations. So you can have a discussion about, we're going to listen to a podcast today that's a perfect example of an organization that is trained and has, seasoned people and exercised the system that they're making good decisions based off of training and experience, and that everybody's on the same page. But this class starts to tie all that together. So you pull up and you think it's one thing, but it turns into another. You pull up and you're going down the path of, we're stretching lines, and we're doing search and all of that. And then you get we have a known victim, and how does that, change it up? You pull up and it looks like one thing on the Alpha side, you get to the Charlie side and it's something totally different. And you're challenged with making some hard decisions, if you will. So that class is 2 full days. It's a workshop. It's a lot more discussion. There are no like full-scale simulations that we do in there. It's more, let's build out on the front end what system we use to help us make decisions and to get people comfortable. And we talk a little bit about that thinking fast and slow. When do I have time, and when do I need to be able to make a decision, like right now? The time to start thinking that you're making a decision and there's somebody hanging out of a window, or somebody was hanging out of a window and now they disappeared, you should have thought about that long before you got there. Like, what does that really look like? How am I going to manage that? What are we going to do? How am I going to communicate that? So during this class, we go through that, and then hopefully it gives all the students, well, we know it does. It gives the students the tools to go back to help them make better decisions on the fire ground, again, under, I think, those high stress environments. And when I talk about making those better decisions, it really comes down to, it's only about them until it becomes about us. And, I'm all about it. Everything we do, customer service, right? Chief Bernasini, it's all about customer service, delivering the service. Well, when the bell rings for us to go to a fire, we're going to the fire. They want us to put their fire out, and if somebody's they want us to get them out. Well, sometimes we don't make very good decisions, and we get, too focused on an objective, and then it becomes about us. And what I mean by what it becomes about us is, and we've seen plenty of these scenarios in the last 6 months, year, however long you want to talk about it, but in the last 6 months, I've seen many myself. We get so focused on an objective that we don't see everything else that's going on. And when we get ourselves into trouble, everything else that was happening on the fire ground that we were called there to do goes out the window. We could talk about that Houston incident where the fireman fell through the roof. Everybody saw that. It was all over. It was on national news. And the fireman falls through the roof, and damn near every fireman that was anywhere in sight went to get their fellow firemen out, as they should. But it comes down to the decision-making piece. What were we really doing? Should we have been there? Should we have not been there? So that's just one of them. Not to mention some of the cases where, we get ourselves into an environment where we shouldn't be, and conditions change, and then we need help. And of course, the help goes to us, right? I mean, that's what happens everywhere. And we'd be lying to ourselves if we said that that's not the case, because that is exactly what happens. We are going to help ourselves. Well, when we go to the help ourselves piece, then all of the other objectives that we were called there to do to provide service to the community go out the window. So this class, we hope, we hope, but we also know from feedback that we've already had from the one organization that we did a full scale thing, and other places that we've done some smaller little workshop pieces with, the impact that it has on the organization. And I have an example, just a short example that I can share on here. So somewhere that we do quite a bit of work. They were doing some company officer development and decision making, but it was hands on. And the company officer they were doing it at a burn building. There was 5 scenarios running at the same time, and one of the stations was company officer pulls up on an engine company. They have a crew. The burn building is producing factors that they should be able to identify and evaluate, and then deploy people to. And when they get out of the truck, bystander, starts basically distracting them with, my family members are in there. And it was interesting. One of the people that went through that afterwards, when we were doing an after action after that session, said, "That's kind of bullshit. I've been doing this 25 years and I ain't never had no shit like that happen before. And I've been to plenty of fires where they said somebody was in there, but nobody's ever gotten that aggressive." And it's like, well, the time to figure it out isn't when it happens to you. And it was very interesting. The next day, the guy goes to work on his regular shift in the morning, pulls up, working fire, gets out of the truck, and a family member has their hands all over him, directing and guiding this person, the company officer, to, "My kids are inside that building and you need to go get them right now. They're inside of that window right there." And that day, this company officer that, a day before was like, "I just don't know, this is bullshit," said, "I'm not sure how I would have reacted to that if I hadn't trained on it and had a discussion the day before." And it's weird how those things happen, right? But that's just a small thing, right? I mean, it's like the places that we go that say, "We will not do vent inner search." Well, if you don't do vent inner search, then you're doing exactly what Chief Bernasini said, don't let happen. Don't let the bystanders become the rescuers, because Dad is going to get a ladder off your fire truck and put a ladder up, or go through the door, or go through the window, or whatever. So, don't say you're not going to do it. Just make decisions based off the critical factors. And that comes back to the class, right? Like, make good, well-managed decisions under high stress environments. And the only way we get there is, experience and practice.
That particular workshop is going to be on the 6th and 7th of March. And we also have a number of Blue Card Train the Trainers coming up, including January 8th through the 12th in Phoenix, January 22nd through the 26th in Lincoln, Nebraska. We're going to be in Phoenix again in February. We are going to be back in Phoenix again in March. So just about every month in Phoenix, plus we have some on the road. I'm going to put all of those dates in the show notes so you can get them and get signed up, because we know people have end of the year money that they want to spend on training. So now is a good time to get signed up for all of these classes that you might need for your department, including the Hazard Zone Conference. And the Hazard Zone Conference, I'll put the website up for that too. You can get on and get registered right now with an early bird price. And don't forget, with the Hazard Zone Conference, you're also going to get a subscription for everybody that you register. So it really is a rock bottom price. We had such a huge success this year at the Hazard Zone Conference in Cincinnati. 500 attendees, great presentations. The networking was awesome. It was really one of those things that brings the Blue Card users together, and we're all speaking the same language, sharing some experiences and learning a lot. So if you want to be a part of that, you didn't get to make it this year, go to hazardzonebc.com, or if you are returning, come on back, because we just had a great time in Cincinnati. It was a great venue, and I know I was inspired by so many things that I got to learn from our speakers. We have some returning speakers, we have some new speakers. You can get the whole agenda too at hazardzonebc.com. Look forward to seeing everyone there.
Yeah, with that, John. So if some of you have reached out looking for a Mayday workshop, and at the Hazard Zone, we are going to offer a Mayday workshop 2 days before the conference. So the conference is on the Thursday and Friday, 3rd and 4th, and the Mayday workshop's on the 1st and 2nd. So you can get the Mayday workshop and the conference, and you can register for both of those at the hazardzonebc.com, or you can call into the office or email me, and my email's always in the show notes. So.
All right. So what are we going to listen to today? We have audio from, and you mentioned earlier, vent, enter, isolate, search. And we are for that tactic. I think as Blue Card practitioners, you got to practice it, like you said, and these guys pull it off once again very well. So what is this audio that we're going to listen to today?
Yeah, so we're going back to Cobb County, Georgia. Blue Card Fire Department. They do quite a bit of work. Very well organized. When I was listening to this, the thing that crossed my mind was Chief Lester. A month or two ago, his 3 C's of command, competent, confidence, and then control. And it was like, man, that is ringing out in this audio also. So I'm not stealing that from him. I was just reiterating what he said. And in this case, early afternoon fire, another instance where the battalion got there first, which we see that all over the place. In suburbia and I think in the large metropolitan areas. I mean, Cobb County, right? The Atlanta metro area, multiple incidents that we've reviewed from Cobb County and put on the podcast where the battalion gets there first. And, some people got mixed views of that. And the more I hear it, it's like, man, I'm more and more a fan of that in a lot of cases, because it eliminates the command transfer. And right from the get-go, everybody knows what's going on. And, the work can just happen, and the incident action plan is communicated, early on. So in this case, again, residential building, early afternoon fire, and they end up pulling a victim out. And in this case, there wasn't a known victim until we got there. So let's go ahead and just give it a listen, and then we'll talk a bit about it afterwards.
All units upgrade. 10-4. All units upgrade your response. All units update your response. Squad to respond. 10-4. All units clear on your response. Possible house fire. Address 2462 Horseshoe Bend Road. Black smoke coming out of the house. 95 radio. Battalion 5. Battalion 5 is on scene. We've got a small
split level, one-story residential structure. We got a working fire with heavy smoke showing from the roof. We'll have the first due engine be prepared to stretch a line for fire control. We will have a fire hydrant in the front yard just past the house. To be an offensive strategy, go ahead and balance the alarm. Battalion 5 left command.
10-4, Battalion 5 on scene, small resident fire. Heavy smoke from the roof, stretching line, offensive approach.
Command engine 10.
Engine 10, go ahead.
Command engine 10. Need you guys to pull your ladder around to the Charlie side for a VEIS.
10-4. Getting clear. Deploy ladder. Charlie.
Command radio with a follow-up.
Command, go ahead.
360 is complete. The structure is not on a basement. Got a crawl space. It does not appear to be involved. We have a report of a victim inside the Charlie side window. Engine 10 deploying a ladder around to the Charlie side for a VES. While the next due engine be prepared to stretch a line for fire control. Battalion 5 accountability on the Alpha side.
10-4,
Engine 3 command, we're pulling up now.
radio clear.
Command all units. We also have a report of a dog in the basement, a pit bull. Command engine 30.
Go ahead, command.
Command engine 30.
30, go ahead.
Okay, I need you guys to, looks like Cleveland stretching a line to the Alpha side. Need you guys to do a quick hit on the Alpha side window and make entry for fire control.
30 cleared, quick hit, we've been inside for fire, no.
7's level 1-3.
And engine 7.
7, go ahead, command.
Be a primary search.
7's clear, primary search.
Just be advised, there's a report of a pit bull in the basement, or in the garage.
7's clear. Did we get anything advised on the possible on the Charlie side?
No new information yet. 10's working on it. And a squad 7.
Go ahead, command. Go ahead.
If you guys go around to the Charlie side and assist with engine 10 with the VES.
Rescue 23 is on scene with 2 and a third rider.
Command to Rescue 23. Once you guys go on deck, Alpha side.
23 is clear on deck, officer.
Engine 10, command. We do have a victim in that window. Trying to get him out at this time.
And engine 10, go ahead.
Trying to get him out the window at this time.
Okay, your traffic was broken up. I understand. Can somebody else that's back there advise? I think you have a victim coming out.
Truck 22 is on scene with 3.
Command to squad 7.
Squad 7 command, we're on the Charlie side. We're assisting with getting the victim out right now.
Okay, I'm clear. Pulling a victim out. And the truck 22. Commander Rescue 23.
Rescue 23.
I need you guys to bring your ALS equipment up and assist with patient care.
23's clear, bringing ALS equipment.
Attack Bucket 6 and the permanent water supply established.
Squad 7 command, we're coming out the front yard with the victim. Go against the machines up there.
Commander Radio.
Radio, go ahead.
Can you confirm a ambulance that's responding to this location?
10-4, we'll try to get an ETA.
Rescue 23 to command.
Right.
Huggins bringing their stretcher up here right now.
10-4.
Engine 23, level 1, 3 personnel.
Engine 23 on deck, Alpha side.
23 is clear, on deck Alpha side.
Radio to command. 10-4, package should be on scene. They're clear to start walking up.
10-4, I got eyes on him now. Thank you.
10-4.
Command all units. We have permanent water supply.
Battalion 1 on scene 2.
Command of Battalion 1.
Battalion 1, command, go ahead.
Hey, I need you guys to bring your gear up to the Alpha side. I'm going to set you up with Alpha Division. Whenever you guys get in place, I'll advise the units will be yours.
10-4, Alpha Division.
Truck 22, command, we have the dog coming out of the garage.
10-4, I'm clear. Commander Radio, can you have animal control en route?
10-4.
Rescue 17 command on scene as med ops. Where you like located?
Command to Rescue 17, go ahead and set up on the Alpha side. You set up rehab and standby.
Radio to command, 10-minute benchmark.
Command's clear on 10-minute benchmark. Command to engine 30.
Go ahead, Command.
Can you give me a cam?
We're on the alpha side, second floor bedroom. I think we got blackout on the fire. No need to this time.
Okay, I understand. Second floor, alpha side. You got a blackout on the fires. Check for extension in that area, please. Command engine 7. Command to engine 7.
Hi, there goes, Command.
Just advise your progress on your primary search.
10-4, you can show primary complete on second floor. Transition in first.
Yeah, clear. Primary complete, second floor.
Engine 30, Command.
Command engine 30, go ahead.
We exited alpha side with 2. Reference medical. Close line left with truck 22.
10-4, command to rescue 17.
17, go ahead.
17, need you to check on the firefighter that just came out the alpha side front door.
District 1, don't see.
10-4.
Engine 7, Command.
And the last unit, go ahead.
It's engine 7. You can show primary complete.
And radio.
Radio is here. And go ahead.
Got all clear on the structure.
10-4.
Yeah, so I think another good bit of audio from Cobb County. Clearly, they exercised the system, right from the beginning. In this case, that battalion got there first. While they're en route, working fire. Heavy smoke, upgrades the assignment. Once they're there, gave a really good initial radio report. Everybody's hearing what's going on. And then before the 360 got completed, known information from a bystander about a victim that somebody had seen in a window. So, that initial radio report piece of an assignment of the first engine gonna, stretch a hand line for fire control, gets updated and changed to no, we're gonna do VES. So, part of that comes down to knowing your response district and knowing, what's really going on, I think, and when that next company is going to get there. So assigns engine 10 VES, bring a ladder to the Charlie side. Pretty good order model. Engine 10 acknowledges that. Hey, we're bringing a ladder to the Charlie side for VES. Engine 30 pulls up. Engine 30, had heard some of that radio traffic because the incident action plan was being reported over the radio. So they started to take action, and then command communicated with them. Yeah, go ahead and get your line to the alpha side. Quick hit the visible fire, and then make entry through the alpha side. So, another good task location objective, exactly what they wanted to happen. Following that, engine 7 arrived. They assigned them for primary search. There's a little bit of communication back and forth of what's going on with that victim. And command communicated with them, hey, we're doing VES through the Charlie side. The squad gets there and just gets assigned to assist engine 10, because we all know, right? I mean, we got a victim in the window, and they say they're working on getting them out at that point after squad 7 got assigned. So, a piece of that is there ended up being a few extra radio transmissions there from engine 10, and then squad 7 fixed it. But that's one of those places where when we talk about like refinement, and I'm in no way, shape, or form armchair quarterbacking anybody. I mean, kudos to them for everything that they do. But it's one of those things, as the incident commander, engine 10 priority traffic, they get a second to, okay, what's this? And then they say what's going on, because engine 10, we got a victim, we're coming out, and the traffic was missed. So command had to ask them again, like, what was that and what do you need? And then the second time they were working, right? So now they got their hands on them. They weren't going to stop doing what they were doing, but they were trying to talk while they were pulling them out. So the transmission was broken. And then command calls squad 7, like what exactly is going on, and then gets a clear report of everything, right? And squad 7 says, yeah, we're going to be coming around the alpha side. We're going to need, an EMS unit. And while all that was going on, Rescue 23 had been assigned on deck because they had fulfilled all the objectives at that point. And then when the victim piece popped up, Rescue 23 got assigned, get your ALS equipment to the alpha side to assist with EMS. Truck 22 was assigned, inside, and then truck 22 ends up, pulling that dog out. So that was a good report. Engine 23 pulled up, got assigned on deck Alpha side because they had used Rescue 23 that they had on deck. So they're trying to maintain and keep that all three levels, right? So companies working, companies on deck, and then still companies that are staged. So during that, we hear Engine 30, give a can report. So that was an IC driven can report, right? So command to Engine 30, give me a can report. So from the beginning, Engine 30 was assigned fire attack. So Engine 30 comes back, yeah, we got the fire blacked out. Their terminology, they know what that means. Everybody else probably knows what that means too. And then no other needs really. And command says, hey, just make sure you check for extension, all around, that space. So a lot of stuff happened on this. So at the 10-minute benchmark, there's 8 or 9 companies there and that were assigned, right? And it was a small single-family residential building, but with some stuff happening. So you ended up with Engine 10 with a victim, Squad 7 with a victim, Truck 22 brings out the dog, and then Engine 30 ends up having a firefighter that needed medical attention. So a lot of stuff going on. And then Battalion 1 gets there. So we hear Battalion 1 on the scene, and then you hear command tell Battalion 1, hey, get all of your stuff. And there's 2 of them. They got drivers, so that's fantastic. Get all of your equipment. I'm going to assign you to Alpha. Let me know when you're there. So Battalion 1 is not Alpha until they say, Battalion 1, I'm in Alpha. And then command's going to give them a rundown. No different than a command transfer. If a strategic IC is pulling up in a car, they're going to gather the information from that fast attack mobile IC before they actually take or assume command. Well, in this case, Battalion 1 isn't going to be in charge of that geographic area and those companies until they are actually in place. And then once they're in place, command gives them a rundown of, here's the units that are working in your geographic area, here's who you got. I think it's just another great example of the system, right? There's not excessive radio traffic, very clear assignments, the objectives are being met, the accountability piece, kudos to this fire department, the accountability piece. So command called Engine 7 for a can report. And Engine 7, we all remember, was assigned for primary search. And Engine 7 says, we got to all clear the 2nd floor and we're moving to the 1st floor. That's good accountability, right? Because before that, command knew Engine 7 was in the building somewhere, right? Probably on the 2nd floor because of their training and procedures. And we're going to search from the people who are at highest risk to the people who are at lowest risk. And there was a victim on the 2nd floor. They pulled out through a window. And if there's 1, maybe there's 2, whatever. So, that was really good. And now command has a much better picture of what's going on and is starting to check off those objectives, right? So Engine 30 reported, hey, you got the fire knocked down. Okay, and it's looking better. And now Engine 7 said, I got an all clear of the 2nd floor and we're going to the 1st. So the whole thing's organized. Everybody's hearing the incident action plan. Everybody's on the same page. And really what it comes down to, when we have standard conditions, we take standard action for a standard outcome. And if you're really thinking forward, a known victim should be a standard condition. That's what we all go to, right? And then so many organizations get thrown off by that. And it's like, we should plan on having victims. And, the number one thing we can do is put the fire out. And in this case, they did vent search through a window, known location, but that other company was there. They stretch a line, they put the fire out. Everybody's working on the same page. Very well organized. Communications is good. Strong command presence. I think it's another, Cobb County gets another gold star.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things that when we get to a fire with a known victim is looking at our risk management model. And that's the point in time where we're saying we're going to risk a lot to save a lot. But even in this case, they're going in to do that rescue, that imminent rescue, but they also have water on the fire. That one company, I forgot which one it was, already darkened it down from the outside by performing a quick hit before the water supply was even established, buying everyone a little bit of time to get into that victim. Now, luckily, they have a very robust response, so they're able to apply water at the same time that they're also doing the rescue. But the water definitely helps the rescue. It also helps the survivability profile of anybody else that may be in the house. With Blue Card, we always say, if you find one victim, be very wary that you're going to find more. So getting that all clear is very important. As far as the other critical fire ground factors go, I think, even on the size up, they called it out. There was a crawl space. I mean, they are identifying that stuff. If you have a basement, it's going to be a whole different thing, right? So they just, all the way around, the 3 C's that Chief Lester and the rest of the crew down there practice, preach, and do, definitely coming out in this audio. All right. Go ahead.
We say it all the time. You can do so much more and be so much more productive when everybody's on the same page, the same plan, and when they all know what each other are doing. And in this case, everybody there knew what was going on. So,
absolutely. All right, Josh, that's a good podcast. That was great audio. Thank you very much for being here today and going through that with us. Of course, if people have audio that they'd like to share with us, our emails are right here or in the show notes. If you're listening, you can send them to josh@bshifter.com. We'd love to feature audio from Blue Card departments out there. So we'll have more audio for you real soon. Until next time, thanks so much for listening to B Shifter.